Welcome to Falls Count Anywhere, where the wrestling ring meets the heart. Hosted by the gentleman Jody Powell, join us as we dive into the latest pro wrestling news and rumors, from the electrifying world of WWE to the inspiring stories of wrestling for Christ. This is your all-access pass to the action, the faith, and the hope. This is Falls Count Anywhere.
Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to Falls Count Anywhere. I'm your host, the gentleman Jody Powell, and with me, as always, is my right-hand man, my inventor, my sidekick, the mad scientist, Mike Buchanan, deep in the Buchanan Laboratories. Mike, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Doing okay. The temperatures are actually not up as they have been. They've been dropping down here.
Okay, so you're saying you're getting into the 100s, not the 110s.
Yes.
Nice. Well, that's good. I won't tell you what it's been here in South Carolina. I don't want to brag, but it's been 80 degrees and sunny.
Wait, I thought you weren't going to tell me.
Yeah, well, I lied.
Joe, you're a face. You're not supposed to lie.
Well, yes and no. I mean, if it was for the greater good, then it's all right. And it was for the greater good of me feeling better about my weather than yours.
Hey, speaking of the greater good, I've come up with something in the lab.
Oh, let me hear you, buddy.
School season just started, and it blows my mind why we're starting before Labor Day. I mean, when you and I were kids, we had summer off through Labor Day. But Be that as it may, it's a new age, it's a new day, and it's all about the app.
The app?
Yep.
Okay.
Now, one thing that hasn't changed is little Billy coming up to Mom the night before and saying, "Mom, I have a school project that's due tomorrow." Or little Sally coming up to Dad and saying, "Daddy, Mommy wanted me to tell you that I need 4 dozen cookies for the bake sale in 2 days." But what if we solved it with a synchronized school schedule app that you can download to your phone?
Okay.
When Mrs. Smith comes up and says, "Johnny, or class, in 2 weeks, you have a science project due," the parent puts a note at 2 weeks and puts a reminder in 3 days.
Okay.
None of this last minute stuff for you to have to worry about or for Junior to have to worry about.
Man, you would have saved my children years of therapy had this app been invented when they were in school. Oh, they were the worst. Oh, Dad, yeah, I need this by tomorrow. Excuse me, it's 8:00 at night. It's bedtime. What do you mean by tomorrow? But an app as a reminder, I love it. Great idea. One of the better ones, I think, that has come out of the lab.
Good to see we're making progress.
Well, I'll tell you who's seemingly not making progress. That's the human race. So let me just go ahead and start with this, Mike. And so fans, just so you know, yes, the WWE had their PLE in France yesterday, which was Sunday afternoon. I guess it was Sunday evening in France. But when we recorded this show, it was prior to Sunday. So we don't have the results. We're not going to talk about France. We can cover that next week if we need to. What I want to talk about is what happened in Los Angeles, California, a week ago Saturday for Knox Pro Wrestling Academy, who was apparently putting on an independent wrestling show. One of their wrestlers had a connection with Raja Jackson, who is the son of MMA fighter Rampage Jackson. I believe Raja was also an MMA fighter as well. So not being one to waste the connections of having a semi-celebrity in your midst, the promoters, who, by the way, are former WWE superstar Rikishi and a family member of his known as Black Pearl, one of the NOI relations. I'm not sure how they're related, but in that NOI family with, Roman Reigns and The Rock and everybody else. So they were promoting this show. Invited Raja Jackson. Now, enter Psycho Stu, who is a longtime professional wrestler on the independent scene. And apparently there was some backstage shenanigans going on. I don't know if it was a promo. I don't know if they were just horsing around. There was alcohol involved, so that's always a bad combination. But Psycho Stu had no idea who Raja Jackson was, thought he was actually an independent wrestler worker that showed up for the show. They started talking smack back and forth, and Raja took a half-empty beer can that was already open and hit him upside the head. Beer flew out everywhere. The can crushed on his head. Listen, I've been hit with things before too. That doesn't hurt, by the way. A half-open, empty can, it's not going to hurt. The only thing it hurts is his pride, and apparently it hurt Raja Jackson's pride. And now, once Psycho Stu realized this guy wasn't a wrestler, he was there as promotional, non-wrestler talent, whatever, profusely apologized, shook the hand of the man. Raja Jackson apparently had accepted that apology. Now, the promoters come in and say, hey, why don't we use this as an angle, as a gimmick? We'll let Raja run out during the match and just attack you. Yeah, great. Sounds good. Sounds like the perfect thing. This beer can smash went out live on Twitch, I believe. So fast forward to the match. Psycho Stu in the ring. Raja Jackson sees the cue for him to enter the ring and attack Stu. Apparently that was pre-planned. That was known to supposed to happen. Jackson comes in, scoops him up, and you'll notice in the video, if you watch the video from behind, Jackson scoots him up. Psycho Stu does not fight back. He gives himself up, is what it's called. He gives himself up to the spot, meaning he kind of helped Jackson lift him up. Jackson spun him around and slammed him down so hard on the mat. The back of his head slammed into the mat, knocked him out cold. He was not expecting this slam. And it was done on purpose because prior to that, live on Twitch, Raja Jackson was talking about the receipt he's about to give to Psycho Sid. Now, that in and of itself is weak. It's weak on Jackson's part. It's terrible, terrible move. If you're going to give a guy a receipt, you don't do it from behind. You don't slam him down, head into the mat. You walk up to him and you punch him in the face. If you want to give him a receipt, that's the time to have given him the receipt was when he was apologizing. If you want to give a receipt, do it backstage. Do it out of the ring. You don't do that. But then this idiot proceeds to climb on top of Psycho Stu and begins punching him, punched him hard in the face, not wrestling punches, MMA punches, hard in the face 23 times before he was pulled off this man. Psycho Stu is in critical condition in a hospital, or was as of the time of the filming of this show. Knocked a lot of his teeth out. USA Today reported that he flatlined in the ring. Apparently was choking on his own blood and his own teeth. All because this guy got his pride hurt from a little half-empty beer can upside the head. I think Raja Jackson deserves to be in prison. This was premeditated attempted murder, in my opinion. There's no excuse for it. There are two groups of people Mike to blame. One, obviously, is Jackson. It's morally reprehensible. Two are the promoters. How does your worker, your wrestler, not know who is going to be there that night? How are you not introducing the non-wrestler or the guest around to everyone? You make sure everyone that is working with you knows what's going on, knows who's going to be there, and knows the circumstances of any kind of gimmick or any kind of work or any kind of shoot that you're going to do. You make sure they know. Rikishi and Black Pearl should never be allowed to book a show again. It's ridiculous. It's on them. If I were Psycho Stu, I'd sue him for negligence. I really would.
Yeah. What was the other group of people besides the promoters?
Raja Jackson himself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Raja Jackson strikes me as want to be kind of like a Logan Paul, and our viewers know how much I admire Logan Paul. his daddy has success. He knows the MMA isn't as popular as WWE. And he's a coward.
100%.
I
Coward.
may not be the biggest person, and I may not beat you in a fight, but I promise you, if you hit me from behind, you're gonna wish you to hit me from in front.
Yeah.
Because that's the way it's done.
This guy has ruined the life of a wrestler. He has ruined his own life. And, you know, it over what? Your pride being a little hurt? You didn't know the situation you were walking into? And that's where it is on the promoters. They have to explain, you know, what's going to happen, what they want this non-wrestler to do. Now, there are people that are standing up for Raja, including RVD, Rob Van Dam, who just simply rage baited somebody to try to get us to watch his podcast. Nobody wants to watch that. Mark Henry placed part of the blame on Psycho Stu, the wrestler. I don't agree with that either. All the blame falls on the promoters, and all the blame falls on Jackson.
If you shake a man's hand, that's the end of it. You accept his apology, be a man, get on with your life if you have one.
I don't even care if you accept the apology. And, you know, in a situation like that, if you didn't like what he did and you want to give him a receipt, give him one, but give him one to his face. Give him one when he is looking. Give him one backstage when he's trying to apologize. I apologize. Well, no, that's not good enough. You know, you're owed this, and pop in one. I mean, I know that sounds violent, brutal. That is the environment, not premeditated attempted murder. It's garbage. There's so much garbage going on right now in the world. I mean, we didn't even get to touch on John Cena's garbage with his new show, season 2 coming out of, what is it, Super Gladiator or Super Friends?
Peacemaker.
Or Peacemaker, yeah. Well, they were making something in that first episode. It wasn't peace.
Yeah, avoid it. Let's just say avoid it.
Don't watch.
It's pornography basically for the first episode, and I don't think it'll get any better.
It won't. And, you know, people call it Holly weird. Mike, it's Holly hell. That's what it is. But I tell you what, Mike, something that's not weird that we're going to talk about right after the break, King of the Mountain and WFC. It all went down last Saturday night. Fans, stick around. Let's talk some WFC after these messages. WFC fans, Wrestling for Christ is on the road. Saturday, September 6th, the American Legion in Kings Mountain, North Carolina. Bell time at 7 p.m. That's a national television taping. Then, Friday night, September 12th, Lee Regional Fair, Sanford, North Carolina. Bell time at 7 p.m. Special guest WWE Hall of Famer Ricky Morton and his son Kerry. Then Saturday, September 20th, back at the American Legion, Kings Mountain, North Carolina. Bell time 7 p.m. a national television taping. Fans, be sure to follow us on Facebook at Wrestling for Christ and on YouTube at Wrestling for Christ WFC. We hope to see you there. Welcome back, fans, to Falls Count Anywhere. Mike, what an event. King of the Mountain, WFC. It was originally supposed to be a 2-hour special. It ended up being 2.5 hours. 2 hours couldn't contain it. Oh, so much to cover. I don't even know where to begin. You know what? I take that back. Yes, I do. Let's talk about Dylan Dollar versus the Mad Dog Nathan Sawyer in the dog collar match. And the stipulation that was added by Dylan Dollar is I was there being held up by those 2 goofball AWOL members. We'll get to them in a minute. Loser eats dog food. Well, after what happened Saturday night, Praise and Power Hour prior to King of the Mountain, where I was viciously attacked from behind by a girl swinging a chair. Oh, no, wait, that was Dylan Dollar. Attacked from behind by Dylan Dollar in the back with the chair, pulled into the ring by AWOL, who took some cheap shots. Then Dylan Dollar hit me again with the chair. Those 2 goons held me up while he punched me in the face and then made his stipulation. So I was laid out in the middle of the ring. The Duchess put her foot in my back and raised the hands of AWOL. So earlier in the week, before King of the Mountain, I put out a little video that vengeance will be mine. And see, I don't necessarily come at somebody like Raja Jackson and tackle them from behind and punch them 23 times while they're unconscious. I use the old noggin, right? So I figure, what is the best way to get back at Dylan Dollar without me intervening in the match? Well, I did intervene a little bit. I climbed up on the apron, to which he had the chain in his hand, begging me to come in the ring, and I knew he would. Because what I also knew is that from behind, his tag team partner, Travis Roberts, was going to hit him with the chair. And he did. Travis Roberts turning on Dylan Dollar, hit him with a chair. Nate Sawyer pins him 1, 2, 3. And Dylan Dollar has to eat dog food. And I guarantee I went to myself to the Food Lion and bought a can of Purina One. They're not even a sponsor of the show. They should be. Opened that can. It was the most disgusting, foul-smelling stuff you've ever smelled. Reports are that Dylan Dollar was in the back in the locker room vomiting for 45 minutes. And it was worth it. It was great.
That is not the way to keep a sponsor, though, Jody.
No, it's not. I mean, the food is for dogs, not for human consumption. So,
fair point.
But what a match that was. Congratulations to Nathan Sawyer. My thanks to Travis Roberts for finally coming around to realize that it's not fruitful to follow Dylan Dollar around. Prayers for Travis Roberts too, because I don't know the future of his wrestling career with his injury to his back, but he can still swing a chair better than Dylan Dollar. So then we move on to the Abundant Television title match. General Pickle, the new Abundant Television champion, thanks to Sir Charles Humperdinck hitting Kenny Austin with that stupid briefcase. Sir Charles has been vowing for weeks to get revenge on Kenny Austin. Well, he finally got it. Hit him with a briefcase. Pickle rolls him up 1, 2, 3. And all of a sudden we have a new Abundant Television champion. So I guess congratulations to Pickle. I'm not the biggest. I like pickles. I don't like General Pickle. But he's the champ, so good for him. Tag team title. The Enlightened. Perfect Vision. What a match this was. The Enlightened just trying, I don't know. They're trying to not get under my skin, but they say they're trying to enlighten me. Well, I don't know that I need to be enlightened, but they weren't able to enlighten Perfect Vision and WFC because our tag team champions retained the titles, continue to be our tag team champions. So it'll be interesting to see the Enlightened's response to that outcome. And I'm sure the Enlightened are not going away. They are on a mission to spread the light, for lack of better terms. That's what they say. And then, of course, we had the King of the Mountain match. Oh, my goodness, Mike. The return of Loaded Guns, Ken Magnum.
Been a minute.
It's been a hot minute since we've seen Ken Magnum back in a WFC ring. And last year, it was Ken Magnum who took out Shane Austin. Shane Austin said to me before that night, before that match started, that he is going to exorcise the demons of Ken Magnum. Well, Ken Magnum came out, and guess who he eliminated first? Shane Austin. So I am anxious to have a conversation with Shane to see where his mind is at, because Ken Magnum went on to win the Chris Thunder Anderson golden ticket that guarantees him a shot at the WFC World Heavyweight title. And, oh, by the way, inadvertently pulled the mask off of a wrestler who was in the ring at the very end with him, and it turned out to be his son, Xander. That created quite the moment as well.
I'm sure.
But then we had the WFC heavyweight title match, and AWOL, being AWOL, opened the show with the Duchess saying they were going to take the night off. They weren't working that night. Well, I came out and had a few words for my dear sweet wife, the Duchess, whose footprint is still implanted into my back. And then I had a message for AWOL that they would actually be competing for the world heavyweight title. AWOL versus Mike's idea, AWOL. You called it, buddy. You gave me that idea. I put the two against one another, but here's the thing, Mike. The second AWOL, the Challenger AWOL, wasn't AWOL at all. The Challenger AWOL, the Challenger AWOL won the match, won the title, and revealed themselves to be all business Kenny Austin. Kenny Austin, our new WFC World Heavyweight Champion. He lost the TV championship, but won the WFC World Heavyweight Championship. And just as he was celebrating, as Shane Austin came out to celebrate with his son, as the Austins were enjoying their moment, Ken Magnum's music hit. Ken Magnum came face to face with Kenny Austin holding his golden ticket. He didn't cash it in, but it was mind games to let Kenny Austin know, I'm around, buddy, and I'm going to cash it in at some point. Something else you want to tune into, fans. Finding Tomorrow. Right after this break, Mike and I continue our series on the armor of God. We'll be back right after these messages. Hello, wrestling fans. The gentleman Jody Powell here. And I want to put you onto two, not one, but two YouTube channels that you need to check out. First, Wrestling for Christ WFC, right here. Check it out. Every episode of Saturday Night Praise and Power Hour up until the last week's episode is on that channel. And then Falls Count Anywhere 323, me and Mike talking it out right here on Abundant TV and YouTube. Check it out.
Welcome back, viewers, to mine and Jody's, and hopefully your favorite portion of the program, Finding Tomorrow. Now, if you've been with us, as Jody was talking about earlier, for the last 3 weeks or so, we've been running down the pieces of the armor of God. We've talked about the belt of truth, which is where we attach our knowledge, or where we should get our knowledge from, because what is true is factual and doesn't change. Talked about the breastplate of righteousness, which is actually the Lord's righteousness. And then last week we talked about being ready with the gospel of peace, so that when we need it and need to share it with others, we have it.
The shoes.
Shoes, yeah. Tonight we are going to talk about the shield of faith, which Paul actually lifts up more than the first three. He says, in addition to all this, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. I think in another version it says, lift up the shield of faith. But it definitely has a prominent place. Lift up the shield of faith so that you can quench all of the flaming arrows of the evil one. Now, Jody and I were talking about this a little bit before we continued. In the old days, whether it was Persia or Rome, not only is it where the shield stood for one-on-one fighting, but when you put them together, they can make for some pretty impenetrable objects to keep more than just yourself safe. But Jody, you also were talking about how you tied it into salvation itself, that aspect of faith.
Yeah, you know, Mike, it's interesting when a lot of times when people will say things like, you can't prove that God exists. And my response typically is, you're right. I can't, and I won't, and I'm not going to try. God doesn't want to be proven to exist. And I liken it to the idea that when you first met your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, and you finally confessed your love, how would you feel if your spouse came back with, oh, you love me? Prove it. Prove it's real, and then I'll love you. And that's what people are saying about God in faith. Prove he's real, and then maybe I'll consider having a relationship with God. God doesn't want that kind of relationship, nor should any of us. We should want to be with someone because someone has faith in us that our love is true. God's the same way. God wants us to have a relationship with him, not because we know we should, not because we know he's real, and so I better do it or else I'm going to go to hell. God wants us to have a relationship with him because we have come to him in faith, knowing that in our hearts we believe that he is real, he is there, and he loves us. Now, my experience with God, my experience in my relationship is going to be different than your experience in your relationship with God. They're not cookie cutter. They're not the same. We're not all going to go through the same steps, the same phases, the same process. Just like we don't go through the same steps, phases, and processes of marriage. Every relationship is unique, and every relationship with God is unique. So I can tell you my experience, and I believe it to be real, and I believe God to be true, and I believe God to be holy. But if you haven't experienced God, it's kind of like listening to someone tell you what it's like to ride a roller coaster that you've never ridden before. You don't have that real experience with it. All you hear is conjecture. And so God wants us to come to him in faith because we want to be in a relationship with him, not to come to him because some scientist has proved his existence. And, oh, well, I better have a relationship with God then. If he's really real, then I guess hell's real too. So I don't want to go there. So I'm just going to, fine, I'll have a relationship. That's not the kind of relationship God wants to have, nor is it the kind of relationship any of us want to have. We don't base our relationships and our love in facts. We base them in faith. And that's what it means to have faith. The shield of faith that's talked about here. You know, Mike, you talk about the fiery arrows coming in. I think about the movie the 300, the Trojan soldiers that were in the valley, and the Persian army was coming, and the night or the day sky, the sun was blacked out by all of the arrows that this army was shooting at these 300 soldiers, and the soldiers would form a dome over one another with their shield, and the arrows would hit the shield. It's just like you were talking about. It was almost impenetrable. And that's what faith does for you, as this world fires its fiery arrows, as Satan and his demons fire their arrows at us. When we have faith in God and we put on this belt of truth and we are ready with the shoes of the gospel and we have the breastplate of righteousness, we are ready to withstand the arrows that are coming our way from the world, from other people, from demons. We don't know what kind of spiritual warfare our life is involved in right now. You know, imagine Job. Job was just suffering through the things that was happening to him. Little did he know that this was kind of a battle, so to speak, between Satan and God. Job didn't know that. Job didn't need to know that because he had faith. And that faith was enough to withstand the arrows that were shot at him.
Now, you also found a verse that directly tied faith to the idea of salvation earlier in Ephesians.
Ephesians 2:8-9, for by grace you have been saved through faith, and that not of yourself, it is the gift of God, not of works, lest anyone should boast.
Yep. And as we're about to close out, it reminds me of a verse from 2 Samuel here, 22 verse 31. As for God, his way is perfect. The Lord's word is flawless. He shields all who take refuge in him. He uses that shield of faith in him to protect you. You know, we talked about those two yo-yos at the top of the show. What happens is we want to put faith in humans. Don't put your faith in me. Don't put your faith in Jody or your pastor. Put your faith in the Lord.
Yep.
That shield of faith that you know he's there, even if you can't see him, he's there. That's where your faith should be.
Absolutely, Mike. You know, and I'm going to put my faith in the fact that coming up next, it's Jeff Dixon, Chris Whaley on The Clash, right here on Abundant TV. Stay tuned.